Hey everybody, today's video is about wheel bearings and the process of taking them off. The rear wheel hub, the drum brake, the rear drum brake was quite a bit different than the front one. And the rear one, you could just take off the hubcap, undo the lug nuts, take off the tire, and then just pull the drum right off, right? So I thought that it was the same with the front, but it's actually not. It's actually a lot different. Yeah, I spent about maybe about 3 hours, banging on these spots right here with a hammer, and a little bit here too, and lightly around here, and lightly around here. I even went into this back area right here and just tapped on this part of the drum, trying to get it off. But I tell you, it didn't come off, and it wasn't coming off, and I didn't really know what the problem was and why it wasn't coming off. So I sprayed some rust penetrant on the lug nut holes, and I just kept on being patient and working at it. But yeah, it didn't come off, and went out and bought the prettiest hammer that I could find. A 2.5 pound sledge for the big job, Thor Mini, and I was just real careful not to hit the lug nuts. I put the nuts back on so that I could protect the threads, which was a really smart idea because I was down there for like 3 hours, and I really wanted to have the job done, but I didn't get it done, and my dad came over and he said, "Oh, you have to take off the nut. You have to take off the castellated nut." And I was like, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, just take it off and then it'll come off." And he was right. Popped right off. It's a good thing he came by, but it's too bad I didn't, just figure that out for myself. But anyways, so the whole goal was to repack the bearings. We'll just check them out because moving the car was really difficult. It took me about 3.5 hours to move the car, pushing it. So I kind of thought that maybe the wheel bearings needed some attention, and so I wanted to inspect them. And so what I did is I, went through all that worked my way to, getting the bearings in my hand so I can inspect them. And I did, and they looked good at first, but I did notice after I cleaned it with some brake cleaner, which is it's a good spray to use, it sprays all the stuff off really well, and you can see things that you didn't see before, like this damage here on this one roller. That's all the others are fine, but it's easily missed when it's all covered in grease. And this is the inner wheel bearing, which is a little bit different, but I don't know if that wear that you can see right there, I don't know if that's normal, but I'm going to replace this one anyways because there was some damage that I did see. It's bent right here, right where my thumb is. It's a little bit bent, so I kind of think that might be an issue, and I'm pretty sure that it is. So I'm going to go and replace them. So this is Tim Ken LM11949, and this is Tim Ken LM67048. And I couldn't really read that last little number there. So what I did is I took this looking glass thing that I have that magnifies things like you wouldn't believe, and then I was able to see that it was 8. So that's the number that I need. So I was just going to repack them, but now that I've seen that I need new ones, I can't just go ahead and do that. So I have to wait until I use this, which is some stuff, some grease, like high-speed bearings. This is it, and I double checked, and it's gonna be good. So even if your bearing grease isn't red, like in all the YouTube videos that you see, if it says wheel bearing grease on it, don't be scared. Stick it on there. Yeah. I had a real hard time taking off the seal for the inner wheel bearing because there's no seal for the outer one. You just pop that washer off, and then the bearing is basically in your hands. It's almost like Christmas, Ha ha ha. Anyways, but on the back of the wheel drum, there's going to be a seal that contains the other bearing. And I know a lot of you already know all this crap, so I'm just telling you stuff you don't know. And everybody's already seen those videos on YouTube that are the the know-how videos. You know, you just look at them and then you know what to do. But something that wasn't in those videos that I saw was how difficult it was to take this off. You know, like some people can use a long-handled screwdriver and something as like a fulcrum point, you know, like the handle of a hammer or something like that, and just rock it out, you know, with like a lever action. But that didn't work for me, so I had to go out and I had to buy a seal puller. But the thing is that like it says, if the puller tips wear, resharpen on a grinding wheel. That's what that says. But these are pretty dull, so I don't know if I was supposed to sharpen them before I used it or not, but I didn't. And it was really difficult. Like, I had to really fight with this. All the edges got bent out, and I had to bend them back in with my awesome pair of channel locks there on the tire that I found on the side of the road, and bend it back over, and then try again and work my way around, and I eventually got it off. I was kind of concerned about, you know, touching the other surfaces beyond this seal, because I didn't want to scuff up the race, you know. So I was careful not to do that, so I saved that, so that's not a problem. Got no problems there, just like Leonard Cohen with women, you know. There's no problems there, so the race is still good. And later on, I'm gonna, you know, do the right thing, and put this right here. I'm gonna do the right thing, and I'm gonna use this this really nice, pretty 1.5 inch socket that's the diameter of the outside of the new bearing. You know, it's gonna sit right on top of there, and you just tap it in real careful, make sure that it goes on even, you know, so that you don't mess it up. You know, just while I'm here, you know, I have the bearing seal in my hand. I'll just show you, you know. So there it is, right, and you just take the socket and just set it over top of the seal, right? And you just tap it in, pop, pop, pop. But this seal is kind of a tiny bit smaller in circumference than this one. I mean, I pressed it over top of it, and it kind of touched the outside edge of it. So I don't really know if it's exactly the one that I need. But I trusted the guy behind the counter at Lordco. He said, well, what year and model is your car? And I said, well, I don't really think that's a good way to search it up, because I think that you might not have my car in your database. It's so old. And he said, oh, just there's no other way for me to search up your part. And so I kind of went, made a sideways face and said, okay, all right. And I told him, and then he went clickety-clack on the keyboard, and then he sold me those. He said, those are the parts that are in the system for this car, bro. You know? And I said, all right, well, I'll see how it goes. And he says, okay. So I got my fingers crossed. But right now I have to make a couple of phone calls and see who can sell me these bearings. I'm pretty sure Lorco could, but, you know, maybe I'll make it a cheaper price at Canadian Tire. I definitely am not going to save like $10 and wait for them to show up in the mail, you know. I got to get the big job done, you know. Yeah. Don't know if you all saw my new jack, you know, like I took the other jack back to the store and got another one at a different store, a different brand. This is a Husky. I'm really happy with it. It doesn't mark the spot, you know, like this, the oil is staying in the jack, which is good. And I have a new method for jacking up my car, you know, like spreading out the load, you know, because the bottom of the car is pretty rusty, you know, like it's pretty rusty under there. So I got to be careful where I put the jack stands and stuff. Not that I noticed that it was crumpling the car or anything, but I just noticed it's pretty dented under there, and it's also pretty rusty, you know. Anyhow, all right, guys, enough chit chat. I'm gonna get to it and get back to work. Got to get the big job done. Bye bye. Thanks for watching. 1958 Rambler Super Part 9.